2 of Code a Dribbble Design, where we're taking the design from Philippe Justic from Dribbble, and we're coding it up. I realized in part 1 I say a lot. I'm very cognizant of it now, so I will try moving forward to say that less. And I almost wanted to say just then. So I'm going to work on this. We'll work on it together. Yeah, so I'm excited. We're going to continue. I just did it. Oh, geez. Anyway, last video, we got the framework, the scaffolding, basically, for our website. And we have the Bootstrap and like a little bit of CSS. Maybe we did like one thing in our CSS file. So moving forward, we will definitely be doing more of that. All right, let's jump in. So this is what we are coding up. This is the design that we got from Dribbble, and I will put the link to it in the show notes once again. And let's see where we got in the last episode. So as you can see, we're somewhere. I'm going to get rid of pricing for sure. We don't need that. We just have these 4 items, nav items in our nav bar. And then the icon, the logo, of course. So in this episode, we'll make this into the logo. We'll get rid of pricing. And we'll slide, sign in, and 4 startups to the right and leave these on the left. So yeah, we achieved a good chunk. We actually got like the base down, except for the footer. We don't have that in yet. And I think something great that we did last episode is we made this responsive, right? So this is still open, and then it closes. So it expands down. We have this great hamburger menu. Okay. And as you can see, this already kind of works too. Like he's sliding, even though the width isn't really fully defined yet, the page width, he slides underneath the title, which is great. So he starts on the right and then goes underneath. And we also implemented the correct typeface. All right, so let's jump back to the code. Where we got with our code in the last episode. So we implemented the nav bar, like I said. We have our row with our 2 columns. And then we put the footer in here, but there's nothing there yet. All right, so I think the first thing I want to do is I'll just get this background color. Let's get this website started. So I'm in Illustrator. You can also do this in Photoshop. And then I think there are other ways of doing this. If you just screenshotted this and maybe do some Googling to see how to find the hex from a color. Or just, an approximation as close as you can get. And here we already have it. So I know that it's DEEFFB. So I'm going to copy that. And then let's see. I called this background/div. I'm spelling that right. Usually I would copy it, but I just copied the color. Yeah, okay. Got it. And then I want a background color. Hashtag this. So let's see what that looks like. And hopefully we'll start seeing this come to life. Cool. All right, so since it's in the container, it's actually not taking the full width. So let's fix that. Back to the Bootstrap documentation here. And as you can see, right now we are using the container class. Sorry about my dog barking in the background. And it has already max width points. And we don't want that. So we're actually going to change our container class to container fluid. So let's go to index. It must be something outside my house. And let's go here and container fluid. Let's see what, so right before it looks like this. Okay, so now it looks like we just have some padding. And then we'll set our own margin later on. Yeah, definitely some padding. Yeah, let's get rid of that. So as you can see, I just did that in the browser just to test it out. When I refresh, yeah, it comes back. Oh, and our image is pushing it over. So we're also going to need to fix that. So let's select our container fluid and give it padding. Sorry, it's weird. 0 pixels. Great. And then, cool. So we'll set all, we'll obviously have to fix a lot of this in our CSS. And then let's adjust our image. So I know it is within class main image. And we're really just going to fix this by putting it back within its grid. Let's select it, main image, and then image, and just give it width 100%. Great, and now as you can see, there's no more going to the side, which is great. Actually, it's weird. Still have that going on. We'll figure out why that's happening. For now, let's do overflow hidden. And now, yeah, as you can see, I just go forward and back. Don't know why that was happening. Maybe it's something having to do with our nav bar. Okay, cool. That looks great. These slides are right underneath. All right, let's put our logo in. So we're in our index. Let's go back to where we have nav bar. Let's make this an image tag. It's weird, like whenever I start filming, like I feel fine, then I start filming, and then, sorry, SRC, and then I'm like, no, I'm ill. What is going on? So go on our logo. And again, all of these assets will be in a Google Drive link in the show notes. And alt, let's call it hub logo. Cool. And let's give this class logo. And I already know this is going to be very large. Let's see just how large. Very large. Okay. Let's see what happens. And this is a lot of experimentation. So if we give it a width of 100%, I think it's just going to stay the same, right? Ah, I see. Then it goes to 100% of where, so much allocated space. Let's try 20 pixels. I know in our reference, and this is also, it is pretty small, right? But it looks bigger than that. So let's give it 40 pixels. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. And now let's try to let's get rid of pricing, and let's get these to slide to the right. Because again, in our reference, we have some of our nav items on the right, some on the left. I found this great Stack Overflow. Didn't want to bore you with all of my searching. And basically, at our large, we want it to be on the right. So if we take, basically in our UL class, we already have it called navbar nav, but if we want our items at a large screen size or width to be on the right, we just need to copy ML auto as another class name. So these are built-in Bootstrap classes. So let's put that in there, and let's see it work its magic. Boom. So as you can see, I had tested this out, so I can show you what it looked like before. Before we had right nav, not what we want. Paste in ML auto. Cool. For filming this part of the episode, I actually took some time and kind of coded up this top section. So this is where we're gonna get by the end of the episode. So we're gonna go from this to that. Amazing. All right, let's jump into it. I zoomed out just a little bit, for my sake, just to be a little clearer what's going on. And let's jump in. So I'm gonna split the screen. So the style is there on the right and our index on the left. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, we have this right now. I'm going to work on the title. So right below right nav, I know my title is within the class title, and then it's an H1. So let's do that. Title, dot title, and then H1. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a font weight to make it bold of 700. Letter spacing, okay, of -1 pixels. And I'm doing this because we'll see once it gets bold. Yeah, it's like a little closer together. This is the space between the letters. So letter spacing does. And then margin left of 10%.
And then I want the font size to be a little bigger. So I'm going to go to 50 pixels and a margin top. So we're going to push it back down of 80 pixels. See what that looks like. Already looking better. And then I want this to look like our reference, which I have open here. So it breaks at find the, it will break when we kind of go like that, but I want to make sure it breaks at find the. So I'm going to go to our title and just find the break. There we go. So now the line will always break there, which might look a little weird at some viewport, like when we, I was just making a hand motion, when we kind of go like there, like that, it doesn't quite work. So I also want to break after the most exciting. And let's see. So that's all I want to do for the title. The next thing I want to do is our navigation, which is a little big compared to the reference, definitely smaller there. So I looked this up a little earlier, and in order to target that, I'm actually going to go navbar, that's one word, navbar, nav, and then navlink to target the navlink itself. And I'm going to give it a font size 12 pixels. Great. Okay, and then moving on, 1 second. Okay, so in our reference, there's actually a line between for startups and sign in. So I'm going to go, oh, and I still have pricing here, so we're going to get rid of that. We don't have pricing. No, the website could have pricing, you never know. And then for sign in, I know this. Yeah, we're going to give this, because that's where we want the line on the left. I'm going to go navlink and then give this a tag, the class of line. Scroll down a little bit, line. And then I know my line, I should have organized. I have it all written out on paper. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So I want it to have a border left of 1 pixel, solid, and then I have the RGB, so give me a second. RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.5, because it's actually pretty light color. I just grabbed the color of this and I looked up and inspect. So if we, did I save this? Yes. Have item. Sign. Line there, we have line here. So sometimes it's like, what is going on? We're definitely on the right, yeah. Let's try it on nav item. There we go. Okay, we have our line. Cool. So that's our line. And the next thing I'm going to do is style the subtitle, which is over here. And I'm also going to make it smaller. So I'm going to give it a font size 12 pixels. And then a margin left to match the title of 10%. And I'm doing percent so that it'll, like if I hard coded like 10 pixels, for example, or maybe like 100, it might not look so great on like mobile width. So this, I know it'll always like stick to 10%. And then I'm also going to move it down the page. So I'm going to give it margin top of 150 pixels. Great. Yeah, let's also change what our subtitle says. All right, so the subtitle, I know just from the mock-up, the design that we're designing from, it says made by, and then there's an a tag. I don't give that an href. Since we're not connecting it to anything, we'll just give it a hashtag. So made by making, not sure what that is. Gain make. Gotta get those gains. that because there's one more A tag. Made by rainmaking. And powered by. This is a bank called Dansky Bank. Cool. Then we have our links there. Great. So it's looking really good. So in order to get to our reference, we also want this search bar. So we're going to actually go back to our HTML. Now we're going to focus on this search bar here. We're going to add that into our project because it looks like that's what we're making it look like. This is what it looks like now, so no search bar. Okay, cool. So we're here. We're not styling it yet, so I'm just going to close out of that for now so there's more space. All right, so within header info, because we're going to make it, it's sitting on top of, our image and the container, the div, or the column where the text is, like the title and the subtitle. So it's actually going to have a higher Z index. That's what allows it to sit on top. And so I'm actually going to put it at the top of header info. So let's make this div. We're going to call it search bar. All right. And then let's open it again. So if we look at our reference, so in search bar, right, we have, I'm going to break this into columns, this is going to be one row, and I'll have a column 7 and a column 5, because that goes into 12. I mean, yeah, exactly. Okay. Class row. And I know that the text within this row is going to be aligned center, so I'm actually going to change that. And then just to select that particular row. And then this is going to be class call. And then I want it to be 7 for small size as well. I think that'll happen. We'll see how this looks. Keep playing with it. And then this is going to be 5. Cool. So within this, our left column, I know that this is white. It has a white background. So I'm actually going to go and give it, yeah. So in the call of 7, I'm going to have a div, and this is going to be class. Okay. So actually, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So definitely it's going to have a white background, but I also want it to be a row. So just a row within here so that I can break it into 2 parts. Maybe not exactly necessary, but that's how we're going to do it today. Background. And then, oops. Okay, cool. White background. And then we have our first div, and we're also going to make it a small 7. This could also be a different size, I guess. I don't think that's as imperative. And then since that's 7, this will be 5. And then as we can see, this says job title or keyword, Copenhagen, Denmark. Okay. So let's make that, it's going to be small, so we'll make it an H6. Excuse me. And then make another H6. Then our call 5. And this says sweet. All right, that looks like it's good for the left side. Now let's move on to the right side. So within here, I also want to align this text. So I'm going to reuse that class. And then I have my search button. And actually, I know already that this search button, And if this was a real website, I'd definitely use a button class and have to link all of that up. I mean, a real website. If we were actually making a search, we'd definitely have to find the logic out for how to do this, and that would most likely involve JavaScript. But that's not, we're just getting the styling down. So as you can see, there's like this purple background here. So that's why I wrote purple background. So we're going to apply the styling for that. And then I'm aligning this center with the align tag class. And yeah, so we're going to now put within here, and we'll make it another H6 with our search. And let's call it class search button and search. All right, let's move back to the CSS. Styling. So I'm just going to move that over there. So more space. All right, so the first thing I want to address is the search bar. So I'm going to target that. And then, like I said, I want to give it a larger Z index. And give it a Z index of 1 so that it sits on top. And then give it a width of 700 pixels. And we want it to move down the page. So I found that giving it a padding top of 300 pixels was best. And then we want to actually give it a position absolute so that it sits correctly on the page. And padding left 10%. Cool. So actually right now you wouldn't see anything because there's no content within it. It has no background color. It just has a width. You would see actually, why don't we look at it? Because we will actually see the text. So that's what it looks like right now. So then within search bar we have our white background. And that's the left side. So we definitely want to give it background color, do white, which is hashtag FFF. And then let's give it a height of 50 pixels. And we want to align content center. And then before we look at it, let's also do our purple background and give it background color as well. And this is going to be hashtag 442 EDF. Perfect. And then we also want it to have a height of 50 pixels. The text color, we want it to be white. And we also want to align, this time, the items center. I played a lot around with aligning things center, but I think I found that worked. Cool. Actually, the line item center might not be doing anything, but we'll leave it in there. You can always comment it out, look at it, see if it's actually doing its job, but I don't think it's a big deal to have. Our H6, so this is the text within. I actually want it to be smaller, so I'm going to give it a font size 10 pixels. And then let's align everything with our align tag. Sorry, I'll zoom up. Align, text, align, center. Everything looks centered, but let's just do that. And then we're also going to give everything a margin, actually top of 10 pixels. And then I think I found that the columns, there was like extra padding. So let's override that. Just for, we basically just use 6 over here and over here. So let's refresh and see how this is looking. Cool, I'm happy with that. Actually, I think instead of top, just inspect what's going on here. Happy with most of it. This is the search button. I think I'm missing that. Yeah, so let's actually search button margin top strike 10%. Okay, it's a little too much because it already has a little bit of top margin. Let's try 6. I don't know, I couldn't get it to align center. Now we're at 8. I like that. Cool. Even these, if I was getting all nitpicky. All right, and then do we have the side thing? No. Cool. Yeah, this is looking really good. I also really like Bootstrap brings in this hover effect, so it turns black when you hover over it, which is great. And I think if it was active, maybe it'd also be black. So right now, this is what we have. Let's add the footer. So this is what our reference looks like. It has this footer. Maybe I'll find some icons for the next video. And we'll also add some Bootstrap grid to the footer. And okay, the only last thing to look at, I don't think it's very responsive. So it's actually nice that it breaks there, like the picture and the title text. And I don't mind. You have to scroll. Oh, it's not letting me scroll. It's overflow to X. Okay, good. Okay. There we go. Okay, I don't mind that you can scroll and see him some more. Yeah, that works at this size. I think something wacky is going on with, because it has a set width. So basically we're gonna add some media queries after this to make the button, I just did a hand motion, to make the button, like the width, less. Cool. Otherwise, I'm very happy with that. Yeah, and then we'll maybe do a media query so this, at this view is not there, that line. Great. All right, I'm going to end this section here. Tune in next time to see the footer and responsiveness. Bye.